Back to the economy now, or sticking with it, I should say. President Trump is gearing up to address Pennsylvanians tonight on his efforts to boost the economy, celebrating the changes his administration has made this year.
Let me tell you about the real economy. We've got $18 trillion coming into our country. Biden had less than $1 trillion for 4 years, and he was heading south. Our country was falling apart. Energy has come down incredibly. Prices are all coming down. It's been 10 months. It's amazing what we've done.
All right, let's bring in our panel. Steve Moore is a former senior economic advisor to President Trump, and Robert Wolf is a former economic advisor to President Obama. A very fair and balanced panel. Good to have you both. All right, so Steve, I'll start with you first. I'm looking at AAA gas prices today, $2.94, lowest they've been in 5 years. That most Americans would consider a big win. What say you?
Yeah, no question about it. Remember, they were as high as $5 a gallon just a few years ago. It's interesting because we used to use gas prices, Sandra, as the kind of metric for how we were doing on inflation. And I don't think a lot of people are focusing on that right now. And they're focusing on things like steak, which is more expensive, and the healthcare bills, which are more expensive. But, you know, you just played that clip of Trump saying he would give his economy an A+. I wouldn't give him an A+, but I'd give him an A-. I mean, you've got near 4% growth over the last 9 months. You've got these trillions of dollars of investment capital coming into the United States. You have a very healthy job market with 7 million job openings. I could go on, but all signals are very strong. Oh, by the way, maybe I left out the most important thing of all, Sandra, which is the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones are at all-time highs, and people's 401k plans are going up and up in value.
Yeah, if you take a peek at them right now, you'll probably realize that all that you've been trying to save, it's been earning a lot of money sitting in those accounts. Okay, so Robert, I won't even ask you what you'll grade the economy and President Trump's policies. But you could tell us, after we hear from Caroline Leavitt, his press secretary, hold on, she previews the big speech on the economy tonight here. Listen.
President Trump is going to give a positive, economic-focused speech where he talks about all that he and his team has done to provide bigger paychecks and lower prices for the American people. We have seen oil prices down 20%. In 22 states, the average price of gas is less than $2.75 a gallon. Gas prices are at their lowest point in 5 years. This is all thanks to President Trump's economic agenda. There's a lot more work to do, and he'll talk more about that tonight. But this is going to be President Trump's bread and butter issue, focused on the economy.
Give us the grade you give him and his policies, Robert. Well, I note that it's not just gas. Oil prices are down 23%, right? Everybody was hit with all those high egg prices. Those are down 30% since he took office. And you've got wages and income going up.
Yeah, those are good points. And listen, I want the economy to do great. I'm a capitalist. We have a lot of investments, so that would be a good thing. But let me quote the brilliant Steve Moore. His November 24th tweet. Tariffs went up, coffee prices went up. Tariffs came down, prices plunge. Free market lesson. When you stop taxing what people buy, they pay less for it. He did a great opinion piece last week.
What's your point?
Americans are angry about rising costs. He didn't say lowering costs. He said rising costs. Here's what I will say. I think it's great about gas prices. But how about utility prices? They're up 2 times the pace of inflation. Actually, as of June 30, they were up 6%. They're up even higher now. If we're going to win the race on AI and President Trump's going to be a big proponent of crypto mining, then we have to figure out how we charge these companies instead of charging people for the incredible new abundance of demand coming on for utilities. And I think that if he wants to actually get that A that I would not give him today, he's going to have to figure that out.
Okay, so where are you at? What's the grade? What's the grade?
Wait, the second thing I would just say is, if he's going after price gouging and he's going after price collusion, then obviously
Wait,
he thinks
who
prices
is?
are high on
Who
many
is?
things.
Who's going
The White
after-
House put out a whole report the other day that they're going after price fixing and price collusion. They put out a report out of the White House that they're going to have a whole new committee working on that. So if they're working on that, they must not
Okay.
like where prices are
So,
either.
Steve,
My
so-
point is, we're in a very disjointed economy. Some things are going well, like gas. Some things aren't
Look,
going well,
as
like
I always
utilities.
say, when
Some things are
Biden and
going
the
well, like
Democrats
eggs.
were claiming collusion and
I
price
know,
fixing,
blame it on Biden. Let's blame it on-
I'm
blame
just
it on
saying if
Obama.
It's there,
Let's
it's
blame it on
illegal,
Obama.
and prove it, and those people will be held accountable.
I agree with you. Talk
Steve,
to his committee.
Steve, final thought here as we head into tonight. This is an opportunity for the Trump administration, for Republicans, to get the messaging right, because this sort of narrative that there was, an affordability crisis got away from them. And they really have to focus on the wins, where the income growth is up. Wages are up, and that improves pricing power for the average American consumer. But they also have to admit that in the polling, people still feel like it's a struggle out there. So, final thought there.
Yeah, no, look, I give Trump an A- for his performance on the economy. I think I'd give Republicans about a D on their messaging of what's going on, because the statistics are all pretty much shooting up north. Things are getting better. They should follow the Reagan message that stay the course, that things will continue to get better. People have more wealth, they have more income. They're focusing on the things that are going up in price, not the things that are more affordable. And I think Trump will give this is a big speech for him tonight, and I think he's going to knock it out of the park because he's got a lot of good news to report.
Yeah, I mean, even Jamie Dimon is acknowledging the wins.
There you go.
Who saw that one coming? Robert and Steve, always appreciate the discussion and the debate. Thank you very much. Good to see you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.